last time I made a Tyler the Creator video, people called it Timu Tyler. I think people need to lower their own expectations. So why am I making a new Tyler the Creator video anyway? Because I love this record. This time I am kind of remaking a song, Sugar on My Tongue. I feel the need to clarify, like I always do. We are not trying to create an exact replica of any song or style. My objective with this is to share, not just what I made, but how I made it, what I used, which instruments, everything. I'm gonna break down the song by parts, and on each part we are going to go through the drums, then the bass, then the chords, etc. If you go listen to the original song, you're going to realize that it's tuned in a very weird way. I don't know what's the proper way to say it, but it feels like they detune the master up or something. If you feel like you know what is going on with that, you can leave a comment. Let's listen to part 1. Yeah, I guess it is Timu Tyler, but whatever. I'm actually ready to embrace it. The knock, I literally recorded myself hitting this, my desk. The knock is clipping, that's very important. Drum boss, EQ, and glue compressor. That's it. Then we got the drums. These samples are all from samplefocus.com. I made like a specific selection of samples that I thought sounded like Don't Tap the Glass. Not all of them, but it is what I thought I could use to get there. Visit samplefocus.com. 7 short hip hop kick, 1 shot, EQ, and then some drum bass. I'm doing layering with this one. Camel Crash, which is a free VST. Just Google Camel Crash. Because the kick does sound like saturated in the original record, another EQ. So these are the 2 kicks together. Claps, we are doing like a combination of these 2, but the main one that you get to hear is this one. They are kind of different each time. This is something that I showed in my Produce Like Kate Renata video to mix the claps, almost like people clapping, 2 shakers. And then 2 toms. For the synths, I decided to use the same device for all of them, which is also free. It's the Toll U-No62, which is a simulation of the Nissan, and I made all of my sounds on this. I think it's easy to use and it's free, which is the most important part. The main synth is a combination of 2. We got this one and this one. This second synth sounds weird, but it only works in the context of the 2 together. It's like bringing some different frequencies that are not present here. For the synth itself, nothing crazy. The layout for this device is super simple. I'm using sawtooth and a square sub. Just a tiny bit of noise. Chorus, I decided to use 1, and the second synth is pretty similar. Then we have more sounds like this. Just basic things that you can hear in the original song. The filter is more open. And then the last sound is synth effects. This is an effect that I hear in the original song that it doesn't sound like this. And as you can see, I added an LFO to the frequency and the envelope. And we get like different results depending on the parameter value that we get at that time. This effect goes at the end of each phrase. One last thing, we have 2 return channels. If you don't know what it is, we can put a bunch of effects together on a return channel like this, reverb, compression, and we can send a signal from any of these sounds. So we can send drums, synths, and it's going to sound, in this case, like this. Because all of these sounds are not friends with each other, we need to make them be together in a space. This is the only paid preset effect that I'm using, which is from Waves, Abbey Road Chambers, but you can use any reverb for this. I'm sending drums and also some of this bass. And then we got another return channel with this Camel Crusher like before and some EQ. This is like our distortion channel. This is crazy. I didn't realize this was so loud. So this is a way in which we can add saturation to our song without ruining the song. Because if you apply saturation directly on top of your drums, your synths, etc., the mix is going to sound awful. So what we are doing with the return channels is a technique called parallel processing. We can have the effects separated from the sources, so we can control exactly how much of the effect we want in our mix. This is crazy though. Let's hear the mix with and without the return channels. This is without anything. Part 2. That sounds really good, even if it sounds like Timo Tyler. We get some chords now with the same device. This is the preset for the chords that I made. You can copy the settings. What I did with the chords is bounce them to audio because there is like a problem with the voices from the sound. By the way, this is a new feature from Ableton 12.2, bounce to new track. Boom, we can do that now. But I'm not sure if these are the chords from the song. So this is an A minor 7, B major 7, according to this thing. This is the bass pattern. This is the preset. Then some EQ and overdrive. Then this kind of pad. This is the preset. This spacer plugin, which is free. It's like a bunch of reverbs. These are the notes. We also get this cowbell thing for the drums. It's just a tiny percussive loop. Doesn't really make sense by itself, but it's just part of this. Can I at least be like the king of the Timo Tyler versions? The bass and the chords, let's make this bigger. The notes are the same, but we double the duration. And now the bass goes down. This is the arp. What I did with the arp is move the offset. This is the default, by the way, up. And by default, it sounds like this. So just move the offset by 6. And then this sound. This is the last sound I made, and it sounds kind of rough again. Maybe some reverb. These are the notes. I think the last one is wrong there, but it doesn't matter because you can barely hear that. It's just so we get a closure. And then here on the second part of that melody. Which again, I am not entirely sure if that's what's happening in the song, because this part is really messy in the song, the mix. It's close enough. It's Timo Tyler, bro. This is what I meant when I said this part of the original song gets messy with these cymbals. The cymbals that appear in this part of the original song, I can't really tell what they are doing. I tried my best. At the end of the day, it's just like a ch-ch-ch-ch. These are all different. like different crashes. And the last important thing that I wanted to say about this part is that I use the mute automation that I always use. I grouped all of the sounds that have like tail because I want silence. I group them all, and then in the group, I just go to show automation. So that's the automation. We are going to need that here as well at the end. The silence with the knocking is basically the bridge from this chorus to the beginning. I use this in my music all of the time. I don't know what's the name of the resource. Dramatic pause, and then you make a sudden change. Okay, let's listen to the full song now. I hope you enjoyed my Teemu Tyler session. Please interact with us. Like, dislike, comment, hate, love. It helps the channel grow. Samplefocus.com. That's where I get all of my samples. That's where I got all of these samples. And that's where you can get yours. If you share your own samples, you get 4 credits for each sample that gets approved.